I can just fire
It's
away.
the same turnout as Dimmer, huh? Isn't it?
Well, Jamo, over 300 games, heading to another grand final. Why did you decide to make the call this year?
Well, I mean, up until probably 2 or so months ago, the club and myself were looking at playing another year and going in that direction. And then this opportunity to move into the next phase of my life proposed itself to me. And then it was just summing it all up in the bigger picture and looking at, like I said, the bigger picture. It's a sentence I've used a lot over the last 2 days. The bigger picture is something I've looked at, and the decision of finishing up, this week is the outcome of it.
When you moving into the coaching staff, is that A-League men coaching staff? We know the women's and men's pathways.
It'll be with the men's. The role hasn't been clearly identified yet, and that'll come to fruition over the next week after the grand final. More will be revealed, but I'll be on the men's staff, and I mean, an opportunity like that doesn't come around often. I don't know if I've seen it so much in it, apart from I think Muskie. So I know it's a hell of an opportunity, and it's something that is not one I've taken lightly, but it's also one that I believe I've got the tools and the capabilities to do well in, to learn, and really to help assist the coach in Rado, but also continue to try and help the players and also the club.
Does that make the retirement from playing easier, that transition, knowing that you're still going to be walking into the same building, being around the same people as you are as a player? Does it make it a bit easier?
It may, but it also may have its challenges. I'm very close with, I'm close with all the teammates, and that's no secret. But I've obviously got a small, I guess, number of people that I've had throughout my years of career. Like, obviously Jamie, Lex started and went away, but it's come back, and we've bonded again really close. Curtis. So I have those close relationships with people, and on the flip side of that, I've probably berated, argued, even had an incident with Jamie in the Asian Champions League where it was pretty physical. So I've got that relationship with him that I've had, that kind of standoff and not berated him as such, but I've pulled each and every one of them into line. So I don't think it'll be much of a different approach in regards to going to a coaching position, but going into the same four walls is always going to help, because I know the way it is, but it may be a little bit different, which I'm sure it would be very different, not turning up and running the 6-minute run and competing and, being the one that's, pushing him and standing with the other coaches. So it'll have challenges, it'll have benefits, I'm aware of that, and I'm going into it with my eyes wide open, but it's exactly that. It's challenges, but there's also positives.
You mentioned the Muskie pathway, club legends, championship winning captain, into the coaching staff, eventually becomes head coach and wins championships, and eventually ends up moving overseas and winning championships in other leagues around the world. Is that sort of the pathway that you're hoping to follow down now? Given
It's
that
a bit of,
him?
no, I'm not trying to compare myself to obviously Kevin. I just, in a way, only looked at, that's probably the last time I've seen a player go into the coaching role. I haven't thought that far ahead, and that's down to obviously one more game. But I'm also aware of, the next chapter being, a coaching one, and going down that pathway, and really just trying to work as hard as I can, and really excel, and whatever comes will come. I saw Ange the other day talk about, the Tottenham challenge, and he just worries about today, and that really hit home with me, for me to go, and he also said about planning stuff, like any coach that plans stuff, it never works out. So for me to sit here and tell you this is what I want to do, that's what I'll do, isn't going to be the case. What I know I'll do is I'll work, super hard in adapting to the new role when it comes, and going on a path and a journey, with the club and the group, and just trying to see what comes of it. I have aspirations. I have, I guess, things I'd like to do, but me saying it publicly or me coming out and saying these outrageous statements, one, may get me in trouble with Keep Up and make a headline about Bambi, or two, it'll just, it'll just different paths may be taken along the journey. So I liked what Ange said the other day about that Tottenham thing. It was good.
What about the more immediate narrative this weekend?
Yeah.
Going out, the final game and going out, winning a grand final. And I've got no doubt you thought about that. Yeah.
I'm a keen follower of all sports, and I've seen it from different sports. And the success stories, like Cooper Cronk at the Sydney Roosters for one, or there'd be many that have had their last game and lost. So I'm under no illusions just because it's my final game. It gives us an edge. It gives us an advantage. It doesn't, and it doesn't come into the 90 or 120 minutes that's played on Saturday night. It really doesn't. It would be a dream if it finished the way I'd like it to finish, but it doesn't change, like I said, the course of the game, and it won't change the outcome of the game or my decision. And I'm at ease with that. Hopefully we get the result, but it won't change anything.
Going into coaching, I guess, why coaching? Because a lot of people have earmarked, you did a quiz show, you've done some commentary, a lot of people earmarked you for maybe a media role. Yeah. I remember having a conversation with you a few years ago where you talked about maybe going into the administrative side of things. What in the end has made you decide to go into coaching?
Well, one, Channel 10 never called me for a gig. I enjoy the media, and it's something that I've just felt natural when being put in front of a camera or a radio or any forms of media. The opportunities that are on show in those positions are very limited in the A-League. And not that if there was 1,000 opportunities I would have done the media thing, but over the last few years I have seen the opportunities probably reduce, and I guess I probably took more focus off that and looked towards inside the football, well certainly inside football, but also the club. And I have, I'm still doing some study with business management. So for me to say, the administration side is cut off would be stupid of me. I still have an interest in that side of the game. But with this position and the opportunity, and I guess an extension of what I've done over the last few years, being a captain, it does carry the work of translating the message from the coach to the players on and off the pitch, and you do find yourself doing a lot of coaching. And I've said it before, I feel I've got a very astute football brain, and I've also worked under some really astute coaches. So putting that together, it allows me to, I guess, give myself an opportunity to be a coach, and having the faith of the club, the group, only enhances, that this is the right opportunity and the right path to take come July 1st.
In fairness, you generally got to get sacked as a coach to get the job in the media.
Yeah.
Pathway.
Well, I'm trying to think what did Ange do, and I'm not trying to compare myself to Ange, but yeah, I mean he was a Joey's coach, and then had the Craig Foster incident, and then sky was the limit for him. So you never know. Yeah, I might have to get sacked and then go into some punditry and then come back into it.
The success is obviously not something that certainly hasn't been a stranger to you in the later years since you came to City. What does it mean to you to know where the club was when you arrived, to where the club, not that you're leaving, but leaving as a player, to where it is now? Is that something that you hold very dear to your heart?
Well, I mean, it's talked about in the last few days of, I guess, what I've done to help the club, but I hadn't won a major trophy since I came to the club, so it's a two-ended coin there. And I guess when it comes to the club and everything, when I first joined, I guess was on offer. It just had to be cleaned up. It just had to be built differently, in a sense, with the different people in charge and working around the club. And in terms of when I've seen over the last 6 years under Warren, under Eric, under PK, and now Rado, the four of them, and I've only worked with Rado for a small amount of time, but definitely the three and Rado have very similarities in the way that they go about as people first and foremost, and then as coaches secondary. And I've aligned myself with them, and definitely PK is someone who I can really look at he was a player, captain, and went into coaching. But now speaking to him, spoke to him as late as last week, and we've just built that friendship now. So really looking at his path, this club allows you and gives an opportunity to people that they believe in, and the success we've had has been fantastic. And we've been tagged and we've been branded a lot of things over the years and prior to my time, but at the start of my time. And I think what's good now is we're seen as a club that's not just show. It's about producing and getting results and playing good football and being at the business end of the season and competing. So it's been really special.
Well, you are right. City was considered a bit of a joke when you first arrived. Hearting it was part of the lexicon.
Yeah, read your article.
In the A-League. What was the turning point? Is there one specific turning point that you can identify?
Everyone, yeah. No, I can't comment on prior to me being at this club. I saw in the first year the challenges that were put in front of people, and everyone will have different opinions on when it changed. My belief is Warren set the ball rolling. I really do believe that. For him to come in and ultimately, no staff came in with him. He just came in by himself and took, took on the world as such, but did it with the right intentions to try and put the football club first. I think he got the ball rolling, and then you talk about Eric, who really had the same kind of, very much similar outlook on behaviour and I guess the team culture as Warren, but just did it in a different way, less English. But he brought this football philosophy really to fruition and really to the surface, and allowed us to have a proper identity. Not that prior to my time or Eric's time there wasn't an identity, but there was a real clear way of playing, and it was seen, I'm sure, by you guys in the media that we were a team that was entertaining, but also a team that was resilient, and that wasn't always the case at this club. And PK's self-explanatory. He had both and continued it, and Rado in his own ways done it. So yeah, I'm fully aware of prior to my time, but it'd be silly of me to comment on that. I was just I guess a part of the new wave.
Well, I mean, thanks to that new wave, a lot of the club's fans have been calling you a legend of the club, an icon of the club. Do you feel like that?
No. It's humbling to be able to be called a legend, but that's for other people to say and not me. It does get me a bit emotional, but yeah, I've just tried my best, and really, if it's transcended in people appreciating me, then I'm glad.
So Melbourne City home. You played at a lot of clubs at Melbourne City.
I'd say so. It's a club that I had no link to prior, and I guess no story. I mean, I've had a fair few clubs, and Adelaide was my first Australian club, so there was a special time there, and Sydney was the time I went back to Sydney, and then Perth was a random move that turned out to be good in itself. But the only club I really connected with was Western Sydney, because I was from the area, and I thought I'd stay there for a long time, but the opportunity to go to Sweden presented itself, and it was one I would have regretted, and I don't regret anything in football if I didn't take. So I guess that's an untold story, and who knows what would have happened there if I stayed. But coming to this club, and I guess, like I said, it was just about coming back to Australia. But my son now is a fan, loves Melbourne City, and having been here for a long time and amassed the achievements we've done as a club, and me being a part of it, it is home. Yeah, it is. And Melbourne as a place is special to live in. Cranbourne, Casey is a great place to be able to work out of. Shout out to the city of Casey, and I see Melbourne City as home, and I guess I never thought I'd be attached to a club, and you probably laugh at that because you said, I've had 5, but it is special to be able to, I guess, have a special attachment with a club, a group of people, and hopefully a lot more to come.
I mean, he's already stealing your arm, Candice Cooper. Yeah. Maybe one day see him running around and see him play.
He's only 3 years old, and I'll never be that parent that pushes him, but he loves it. Yeah, I'll show you videos after of him I've said it in the media before, but on the TV, we were lifting the Premier's plate and he's standing in front, lifting the medal. And that's one of the hardest decisions that comes of it, is not so much me not playing anymore. It's just about the journey my son and I have started now. Him talking about going on the pitch, kicking balls, and Papa playing for Melbourne City. And I don't know if he'll be old enough to register that I'm not playing anymore and he'll just see me on the pitch now, but that's the hardest, I think, and that's the most gut-wrenching thing, is when, I guess, the first time he says, I don't play anymore. He has said I've been on the bench a few times. Papa sits down, so he understands a few things, but that's the toughest part, mate, is Hudson's not old enough, he's only one, but Cooper is, and that's the toughest part.
You've got a chance to add one more this weekend. What's your favourite moment in playing for?
Well, I've lost a hell of a lot of finals, ranging from Asian Champions League to FA Cup, so, to be able to win a trophy and win the first grand final for myself, but also the club was a hell of a night, and something that I'll forever remember. But, carrying my sons out, probably 3 months ago, is something that I'll probably have as the biggest highlight. And photos and videos that will I'll have forever. But, I don't know, ask me in a couple of months when I'm out of a playing career and I'll be able to reminisce it more. It's kind of hard because I hope the second best. My son's and carrying out with always number one, but the second best will be, winning this grand final in Sydney. That would be, in the way it's ending, it would mean the world to me, and that would be up there. Yeah.
If you do win this grand final, 4 straight grand finals, 3 straight premierships, 2 of the last 3 grand finals, do you think it makes City, it's right up there with other old Alcoa City sides as one of the best sides in Australian football history?
I hope so, but I think the narrative of, you got lots of money and you're run by the City Football Group sometimes covers people's vision of what we've actually done. Yes, having great resources and yes, having the resources to go and get marquees is great. Mind you, every other club can do that too. We're just fortunate that we can. But the salary cap's the same, and I want to reiterate that. Everyone has the same salary cap. So money doesn't buy you success. It doesn't. It's clear, because prior to the success we had money, but we just weren't getting success. So what gives you success and what gives you a chance to win success is the people inside the club, and the day-to-day work ethic that people carry onto a pitch or a gym. So I hope we are, spoken in those conversations with those great teams, in the NSL era, and most recently the A-League era of Brisbane Roar. But we have to win. It's clear. It's probably not great that we've been in 4 finals. Well, we've only been in 3 and won 1, so we have to win. And we put the biggest pressure on ourselves. No one writing a headline will, but money doesn't buy you success, mate. And that's, I've heard a lot of talk from the Mariners about budgets and stuff, but money doesn't buy you success. It's the people that are in there day to day, the people that you don't see behind the scenes. The marquees are the ones that are the strawberry on top, and they're really key, but day-to-day work ethic wins you titles and championships, not money.